This valuation slide captures Masco as a classic quality cyclical, a company with strong brands and solid capital allocation, but one whose multiple still swings with what investors believe about repair and remodel demand, housing turnover, and margin durability. Historically, Masco's biggest success was proving it was not just another commodity building products supplier. Brands like Behr, Delta, and Hansgrohe gave it pricing power, better channel positioning, and stronger margins than many peers, while buybacks and dividends helped turn ordinary growth into decent per-share compounding. But the market's recurring mistake was to price Masco too linearly in both directions, too optimistically when housing and remodel sentiment looked strong, and too defensively when macro conditions softened. That is why the stock has repeatedly traded in waves around earnings expectations rather than following a smooth compounding path. Now to the present. The stock is around $62.97, which fits the skepticism your chart is showing. Masco's 2025 results were respectable, but not strong enough to command a premium re-rating. Full-year net sales fell 3% to $7.56 billion, adjusted EPS slipped 3% to $3.96, and adjusted operating margin eased to 16.8%. In Q4, sales fell 2%, plumbing sales rose 5%, but decorative architectural sales dropped 15%, while gross margin contracted to 33.9%. Reuters also noted that price hikes helped offset tariff costs and weak housing, but not enough to fully protect profitability. So the market is not treating Masco like a broken business. It is treating it like a good operator still fighting a sluggish backdrop. Looking forward, the estimates area on the chart suggests recovery, and management is at least pointing in that direction. Masco expects 2026 adjusted EPS of $4.10 to $4.30 and says sales should be roughly flat to up low single digits, adjusted for currency in a repair and remodel market it sees as roughly flat. The company is also restructuring, expects about $50 million of additional 2026 charges, and is integrating Liberty Hardware into Delta Faucet to simplify the portfolio and support future margin expansion. The next important proof point is close, with Q1 2026 results due April 22nd. So the key takeaway is this: Masco is no longer priced like a premium housing winner, but it is also not priced like a deep cyclical mess. Today's valuation reflects respect for the brands and discipline, but caution around tariffs, decorative weakness, and a still muted remodel environment. If Masco can stabilize decorative demand, keep plumbing resilient, and convert restructuring into real margin improvement, the stock can move back toward a higher valuation band. If not, it likely stays a solid business that the market continues to value with restraint. Let's go straight into the risks, because with Masco the key question in 2026 is not whether the company owns good brands. It clearly does. The real risk is whether those brands can keep protecting earnings while the repair and remodel market stays sluggish and costs remain difficult. Management itself said it expects global repair and remodel markets to be roughly flat in 2026, with sales only roughly flat to up low single digits adjusted for currency. The biggest risk is still decorative architectural weakness. In 2025, decorative architectural products sales fell 14% for the full year, and in the fourth quarter they dropped 15%. That matters because this is not a tiny side business. It is essentially the Behr and KILZ franchise, and management has said the vast majority of that business is sold through the Home Depot. So if DIY traffic remains soft, big-ticket repaint activity stays muted, or retailer demand does not improve, Masco can keep feeling pressure even if the broader company remains profitable. Closely connected is tariff and cost pressure. Reuters reported that Masco benefited from price hikes in Q4, but those increases were needed to offset higher tariff-related costs and a weak housing market. That is the dangerous part of the story. Price can help for a while, but if costs stay elevated and demand remains cautious, the price-cost spread gets harder to defend. In a company like Masco, that usually shows up through weaker margin quality before it shows up in a dramatic revenue collapse. Another major risk is margin compression. Masco's fourth quarter gross margin fell to 33.9% from 34.7%, and adjusted operating margin also moved lower year over year. Full-year adjusted EPS declined to $3.96 from $4.10. That tells you the current environment is not just about slower volume, it is also about reduced operating leverage. If plumbing stays decent but decorative remains weak, the company can still look stable on the surface while earnings power erodes underneath. Then there is execution risk. Masco is integrating Liberty Hardware into Delta Faucet Company and expects about $50 million of additional restructuring charges in 2026. Management believes those actions will support future margin expansion, but the near-term risk is that disruption comes first and benefits arrive later. When companies streamline during a flat market, the margin for error gets smaller. Key takeaway: Masco's 2026 risks are not about brand collapse. They are about a good operator trying to protect earnings through a flat remodel market, weak decorative demand, channel concentration, and sticky cost pressure all at once. Now the opportunity side, because with Masco the upside is not about a dramatic reinvention. It is about letting a strong brand portfolio, better execution, and disciplined capital allocation do the work. Even in a muted backdrop, Masco still generated $866 million of adjusted free cash flow in 2025, kept adjusted operating margin at 16.8%, and guided to $4.10 to $4.30 of adjusted EPS for 2026. That tells you the business still has real earnings power even before any meaningful market acceleration. In the short term, the clearest opportunity is plumbing. That segment grew in 2025 while decorative remained weak, and Masco's investor materials still highlight strong brand recognition, leading positions, and design leadership across its portfolio. That matters because premium plumbing brands like Delta and Hansgrohe give Masco a stronger base than many housing-linked peers. If that segment stays healthy, it can carry more of the earnings story while other parts recover. A second opportunity is the Liberty Hardware integration into Delta Faucet Company. Management called this a key part of its consumer-driven strategy, designed to leverage brands, capabilities, and scale across the organization. That is important because this is not just a reporting change. It can create a broader kitchen and bath offering, better customer coordination, and a more coherent portfolio around Masco's strongest categories. Third, there is a real self-help story here. Masco said restructuring actions taken in late 2025 and into 2026 are expected to streamline operations, reduce headcount, and generate savings that can fund additional growth initiatives and support future margin expansion. Add the new $2.0 billion buyback authorization, and the company has multiple ways to create shareholder value even without a booming housing cycle. Longer term, the bull case is straightforward. Masco keeps taking share with strong brands, gets more out of its scale, and compounds through cash flow and buybacks. If decorative improves and plumbing stays resilient, the company can look less like a restrained cyclical and more like a high-quality repair and remodel compounder again. That is where the re-rating potential sits. Now let's look at analyst sentiment on Masco, and this is clearly a wait-and-see setup. There are no strong buys, 7 buys, and a much larger group of 15 holds. That tells you the street generally respects the company's brands, cash flow, and execution, but it is not ready to get aggressively bullish yet. What stands out most is that hold is by far the biggest category. That usually means analysts see stability, but not enough near-term confidence in growth, margin expansion, or housing-related demand to push the stock into a stronger conviction bucket. It is also important that there are no regular sells, but there is one strong sell. So broad bearishness is limited, yet some skepticism remains around the pace of recovery and how much upside the market should assign right now. Sentiment on Masco is not bearish, but it is clearly cautious. The street sees a solid business, but it wants clearer proof of stronger growth and operating momentum before turning more bullish.